Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I posted a picture on Instagram and Facebook group I'm in. And then I did a little quick flip through last night of this booklet. I made this with two 12 by 12 sheets of scrapbook paper. I used double-sided paper for this just because I wanted, both sides to be pretty. And so the envelopes obviously are not part of that scrapbook paper, right? But, the covers, the pages, and then the pockets are. So we've got a pocket here, and I stitched around that one. There's two envelopes, and I just used little Velcro closures for those to help hold them closed. You wouldn't have to do that, but I did. There's two pockets here with little slots. Another large envelope, and then another pocket. This one I just put closed with a little string. And because this one was so large, I also did not glue it down all the way, so there's a nice large tuck back there as well. So the best part of this, where are they? The best part of this is all the scrap. That's it. Two tiny little triangles. So there's no waste. Well, essentially, this is waste, right? Essentially no waste. And this is just from cutting those pockets. That's it. So my scrap bin isn't a lot fuller. I hate when I making an envelope uses a huge, especially if you use the envelope punch board, which is what I do. Use this big, huge scrap piece of paper for this tiny little envelope, and then you're always left with these cutoffs, right? This project doesn't have any of that waste. It's awesome. I love not adding to my scrap bin. It's already full enough, and I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of the paper, right? Especially paper that's, so pretty. So we are going to go through how to make this. I did sew mine. You could staple it, or you could just, leave it like this and put it in like a traveler's notebook type of thing. So anyways, let's get started. Let me scoot this to the side. These are the two papers I've chosen for the next one, and they are double-sided as well. And I will say, when you're choosing your double-sided paper, I tried to make sure that one side, whatever I used to cut off, because one of these, let me show you, one of these, when we, the way that we're going to cut it down, this strip is cut off this way, but we have to rotate it to be this way. So if you have words, if you have words like this that run across the bottom of the page, so either they're going to be sideways, or try to find a paper that's not going to have words that will run. Anyway, that's just my personal preference, so I thought I would mention it. First thing we need to do, I'll start with this one. This is going to be my cover paper, and I think I want this portion to be my cover. So our cover, we're going to keep it 12 inches long or wide, and then it will be 8 inches tall. So I think that will be nice, right? If this is our main, and then that means that this will be 2 pockets. So let me cut that. Get my little trimmer. And I'm going to cut this at 8. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. Okay. Keep this. I need this. There's that. And then for this sheet, I want this to be the page, so I'm going to trim it from the bottom. So 8 again. Again, keep that little 4-inch strip. We're going to need that. Oops, sorry. That was loud. Okay, now we are going to score our pages. It's 12 inches long, so we are just going to score at 6 inches. Right down the middle. And same for the cover. Right at 6. And we can go ahead and fold those. Why is that not? Oh. I thought it was like 1/8 of an inch off. That was really weird. And if they aren't, you know, some scrapbook papers are not square, right? We've all experienced that. We're going to trim it. So don't worry about it. And this one, I think I want this to be my innermost signature. Because I think that would be nice when it opens all the way. So I'm going to fold this like this. Plus, that means that these would be the pages that would have the envelopes on them if you wanted to add that. And I don't mind covering up this kind of plainer side of the paper with envelopes. Just press that down. So that is what our little booklet will look like. Voila. Now you can wait to decorate, and you know, sew it in and then decorate, or you can decorate first and then sew it in. For something this small, I'm going to go ahead, we're going to bind this next and kind of put it together, and then we will put the things in. So let me move this. And I need to get, oh my goodness, don't mind all this noise. I got this really cool, it's kind of a stamping platform thing, but on the back, it's got this foam that's perfect for poking my holes. So on the inside here, I'm just going to mark first where I want these holes to be. If you want to do a 5-hole stitch, which is what I'm going to do, you are going to mark from the edge. I'm just going to use a pencil. Since it's only 2 pieces of paper, I don't really feel like I need to like hold it together. I'm just going to mark right on the crease. We are going to poke a hole at 1/2 inch, at 2 1/4. And I just figured these to be evenly spaced. 4 right in the middle. 5 3/4. So they're all 1 3/4 inches apart. And then 7 1/2. And about 1/2 inch from the edge. So there's that. And then I'm just going to hold these together. Like I said, since it's 2, it's not, it's kind of easier, right? To poke the holes. And I am just going to use my pencil marks as a guide and poke my holes. You don't have to measure them, I guess. I'm just kind of, I like them to all be even. So now we have our holes. And where is my cap? There it is. Grab a needle and some thread. This This was actually really nice to bind this together because it was like, it was so small. And what thread do we want to use? I'm not super worried about it being like heavy duty anything. Let's open it here. That would be pretty. Let's do that one. It's kind of gold. Or I have this one. It's a little gray though. I like this one. Oh, the choices. Now let's see if I can get it open because I think it's new. Woke up this morning. I thought I'd try to get this done for you guys before all of my brood wakes up. We have a full day baseball today. My oldest is plays travel baseball. And if I got any mamas out there, or daddies, I guess, that have a kid who plays travel baseball, you know that it is all day, all year long. So he has 3 tournament games today, which means once we get going, we will not stop. Hopefully it is a good day and they do well. I'm pretty excited for him. I'm going to start on the inside for a 5-hole, and you just kind of weave them in and out. Like I said, this one is pretty easy. If I pull it off camera, I'm sorry. I gotta try and see. So, yeah, so baseball is going to consume my day. So I was like, oh, I really need to get downstairs and try to get this done for y'all because otherwise it ain't gonna happen. And that's a day. And I know you guys were really wanting to see how I did this. So, oh my gosh, this is so easy with just 2 pieces of paper. I wish all of the binding that I do could be like this. How nice would that be? Not having to fight with the paper. All right, I'm gonna pull it off so I can tie it. Sorry. But, goodness. We thought baseball might be close to getting done. Nope. We got, I think, 3 or 4 tournaments in the fall. I'm pretty excited for him, though. This team is extremely good. They only took 2 kids onto the team, and my oldest was one of them, and he is super excited. It's a new team for him this year. They were ranked really well. I think they won state last year. They won the Global World Series last year, you know, at the state level. So yeah, we're super pumped for him. But with their success means a lot of practice, which is good, and a long season, which is good also. I love baseball. It's my favorite. Okay. So now we are just going to trim these inner strings. You could leave them long if you wanted to. I don't want to on this particular one. And then we are going to trim the sides. Oh, I guess I can get rid of this thing. So, you know, when you put it together, you might see there's a little overhang here, overhang here. I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. Give my hula. And I'm cutting that. And let's trim this up a bit. And I just try to, you know, eyeball it. Put my ruler up to the edge and see where one ends and trim off the slivers. Go ahead and trim that up. And then it looks like this bottom. Oh, look at the back. let's just do both. This thicker paper, I've noticed, does this a little more right than thinner paper, but it's okay. It's an easy fix. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, now let's do the bottom. And just take it easy on your passes. You don't have to push very hard. That'll also help keep your blade from kind of bending. And then you can get a nice even cut. All right. I think we look good now. Let's get these out of here. All right. And then on my booklet, I also rounded the corners. I don't know. I just like the way it looked a little better. So I'm just going to use the medium corner rounder. I used the large one on one of my mock-ups, and I didn't like how big it was. So medium it is. And I also didn't ink any of it. I mean, you absolutely could. You could totally ink everything. I'm a huge fan of inking, but this paper was pretty. I didn't really feel like it needed it necessarily. All right. So there is our little booklet. Now for the insides. So these are the strips, the 4-inch strips that we had cut off. One of them will be orientated this way for, you know, the pockets with a little notch. And one of them will be orientated this way for the triangular kind of folio pockets. I don't want this lettering to be sideways, so I'm going to use this side of the paper, and it kind of works out because it has numbers and letters that are already oriented that way. So this one's going to go this way, and this one is going to go this way on this sheet of paper. So all we got to do is cut them in half at 6 because they're 12 inches. So let's cut them in half at 6. There's those two. And cut this one in half at 6. And there's those two. Right. Now for the horizontal pockets, what we need to do is score it on 3 sides. And we are just going to score 1/4 of an inch from both sides and the bottom. I like a little more room. I like that it gives me a little more room than just gluing the sides down. So we'll score at 1/4 of an inch here. I'm just going to flip it because it's easier to get my hand in that way. And then we'll do the other one. Does anybody else have this with the Tim Holtz paper sometimes where it like rips the top? Drives me crazy. Like, come on. Get the glue right. If cheapo paper can figure that out, I think we can get Ranger to figure it out. Drives me insane. All right, so we've got those scored. And then I have to trim that off. That's really bugging me. I'm just going to take off like a tiny bit off the top of this because it's making me mad. Just like the tiniest sliver. Well, and it also kind of weakens the paper, you know? I don't like it. I'm not going to worry about, well, I guess I better check. Yeah, see? Yeah. Let's do this one too. Might as well. All right, again, I'm just going to take off a tiny little sliver of this one. At least I guess now they'll match, right? All right. Sorry about that. A bit of a detour. Okay. So just fold these up. These. Fold on all your score marks. And then, and I fold them first just so, because sometimes the scores are a little, they confuse me, if we're honest. And then I'll just use the score marks to cut out this corner and create kind of little wedges to take out some of the extra bulk from the corner. And we'll do that on all of them. Oh, hello. And the top. There we go. Then for our little notch, I'm going to flip it over the back because I'm going to write on it. And this way, there's no chance of seeing it. So these are 5.5 since we, took our score marks, or, our little flippy flappies, a quarter off each side. So now we're at 5.5. So center would be 2 3/4. So I'm just going to mark it like so. And then grab my 1-inch circle punch. That's the one I like to use for this. And I'm going to flip it over and we're going to punch out our little notch. And I try, oh, I shouldn't have taken this off. So I use like the center of this little triangle to try and line up, the middle of this. And then also, because when I'm doing a bunch at once, I like them to be pretty even. Oh, hello. I'll show you on the inside of this. Let me see if I can show you. Can you see those black dots? So I marked those right there. I marked it with a Sharpie so that I would know how far down to put the paper. So when I'm doing a bunch at once, I don't struggle with making a match. So try that out. Because inevitably I'll get one that's like exactly how I want it, and then one that's not. And I really liked this size, so I was like, oh, let me just mark it. And it has made life easier. Okay, so you could leave it like this. You could sew around the edges, which is what I did on the other one, which I really like, which I'm going to do. But you do this same thing with both. Same way. And then for these, we are going to, and I'm going to go, sew all that off camera, because this is what you guys really want to see. So for this, we are going to score again. But this time you just need to kind of keep in mind that one is going to be on one side and one's going to be on the other. So, for the one on this side, we are going to just score here and here. And on this one, we are just going to score here and here. So that is important, because otherwise you're going to be scoring a side that isn't being attached to anything. So for this one, here and here, so I'm going to score 1/4 inch on here, and then I'm going to turn it, and this would be the bottom here. So we've got it here and here. For this one, I want to score 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch here. So I'm going to turn it this way and do the bottom. And then turn it again this way and do another 1/4 inch for this side. So now I've got it on those two sides. We are going to do the same thing as far as folding it. And we are going to cut out our little corners to make it nicer to glue down. And this just creates less bulk. Like I said, I like doing the little flappy bit because I feel like, you know, the pocket isn't as stuck down. You know what I mean? You have more room to put your stuff. So you can really get it in there so it's not too tight. So we'll do that. Scooch our little corners. And then to do the diagonal, you guys might have an easier way, I don't know. But I just measured 2 inches over. And keep the mark pretty close to the top, or you'll just have to erase it, which I have done as well. Mark 2 inches in that way, and then 2 inches in from the bottom. And then connect the dots and just cut off that little corner. Like this. You can put it in your paper trimmer or use your little craft knife. I think the craft knife would be easier at this point than pulling my trimmer back out, so craft knife it is. And there's our 1 bit of scrap. Just like so. Get rid of any pencil marks. And then for the little slot, I just use a hole punch and then cut it out. So I think what I did was 1.5 inches up and 1/2 inch in. What am I doing? This way. So 1.5 up, 1/2 inch in, and then I just marked right on the corner. And then did the same on the other side. That way I knew that they would be even. It's hard to see with where I'm sitting. It's really hard to see. And then right there. Sorry if that's off camera. Is that off camera? Yeah, almost. Sorry about that. And then just a regular hole punch. You can make a really tiny slot. You can make a medium-sized slot. You can make a big slot. You can make no slot if you didn't want to. So I'm just going to use my hole punch and punch those out like so. And then I'm going to connect the dots basically. So using this, and when you do this, you really want to be at the very, very, very edge of the circle. Otherwise it leaves this funky, I don't know, it's just weird. So, I mean, you can barely see the circle here. I can see it. And then just carefully, and you can also kind of feel when you've reached the circle on the other side because it gives way, right? So kind of like that. Flip it over and do the same thing. So just the very top edge of both circles to the point where you can you could barely see the circle at all. And that will give it a nice little slot on there. So there's that one. We're going to do the same on the other one. And then I am going to go ahead and sew around. And then we'll be right back. See you in a minute. All right. So I've got everything sewed. Sewed. I'm just tying off my zigzag stitches. One last one to do. I can hear little feet upstairs, so I'm sure I am going to have a sister mister coming down here in a minute. It's so funny, we have 2 boys and then a girl. And our boys, we always said Mr., you know, when they were little. So then Lily comes along, and I remember our oldest, I don't know, something, she had done something, and I said, sister, and he goes, is sister Mister? So she has been Sister Mister since she was a baby, because he clearly thought that Mister was the appropriate thing for her. All right, so to get these in here, we are just going to glue our little flippy flappies onto zip edges. Like I said, you can absolutely ink around them if you want to do that. I don't really think I'm going to for this one. Oh my gosh, this glue is starting to dry out on me, and it makes it so difficult to work. Well, I mean, not so difficult, but just not as... Oh, there it goes. Maybe it was just clogged because now I just got a ton. Oh, Fabri-Tac. All right. So I'm just gonna stick this bad boy down. Oh, I definitely hear feet. They're coming. The troops are coming. Like this. Does it look all right? Press it down really good. And then to the inside, we'll do the same thing. Just glue them down. And I'm just going to stick it down here in this corner. Make sure it's even and square and all that goodness. And I trimmed off the inside strings, but I left the outside ones. You can trim them all if you don't like them. But I do like them. So on they will be. Same with this one. Oh, someone is coming in my door. Which one is it? We were right, guys. It's Sister Mister. There she is.
Who are you talking to?
All of my friends.
Do the workout work?
No.
Then
They work all over. I bet they work all over. All right. And for the last pocket, we are going to put this one on here.
what?
And we are just going to do the sides. Did you sleep good, sister? Oh, yes. Well, we almost got it done, guys. Now the troops are waking up, which means it is baseball time. And we'll glue that one down.
My birthday. When time's gonna be my birthday.
Alright. And there's that. Where did the lid go?
Oh, yes.
I think, Lily, did you steal the lid to my glue? Uh-huh. All right. So that is the, folio with the 2 pieces of scrapbook paper. I'm going to make sure that I don't have any glue kind of sticking, right? And like I said, you only have those tiny 2 squares that we can, get rid of. That's it. So there we are. Maybe on a second video, I will go over adding the envelopes. I think that might be fun. So there we go. Have fun. Show me what you create. You can tag at Twigs and Tomes on Instagram. I'd love to see how you guys, do this for yourself. And then stay tuned. We'll come back and do the envelopes next time. Thanks for stopping in with me. I'll see you later. Bye.